I must do something. But, what should I do? Oh my God! I am not feeling well, but need to go there, and settle this up. If my hunch is correct, then this will be the last day of my life. I will write a message, if anything happens to me. Judy and Joanna will read it and know everything. It's time to go.
What's up, Officer Judy?
Please, have a seat, Sergeant Joanna. We've got some work to do. We have just received an emergency call from the municipality. A janitor has found a dead body of a man in the outskirts.
You are kidding me. Our town is very peaceful and calm. Is it a murder?
That's what we have to find out.
Did they identify him?
Yes. Sorry to say, it is Dr. Benjamin Miller.
I don't believe it. He is too young to die. Ben was my classmate at high school.
Yes, Joanna, I know.
He was brilliant but also adored by the teachers and colleagues.
He is a big loss. Olivia hasn't been told about his death yet.
What should we do now?
Let's go to the scene and investigate. If it were a crime, we could look for clues there.
Roger. I will ask for the car immediately.
What a calm night.
Yes, that's true. How wonderful is it to be blessed with peace here.
Tell me, officer.
When was the last time you met with Ben?
Not too long. We were out for dinner 2 weeks ago. He was telling me about his wife and a possible divorce plan.
A divorce? I am aware that he was not on good speaking terms with Olivia. But, never thought such a wonderful relation would end in divorce.
Their marriage was sailing through violent storms, Joanna. And Olivia has deserted him. She is living now with her mother.
This is strange to me. They looked a very happy couple. I've never imagined their marriage was so much at stake.
He was so depressed. Come on, Ben, take it easy. All sorts of such things happen in a family. You are one of the best people I've ever met. You cannot let this ruin your marriage.
Look, Judy. You don't understand. Olivia is too jealous, and she cannot see the harm this causes to me.
Honestly, all women are jealous, Ben. And Olivia is a wonderful person, everybody likes her.
Not a wonderful wife, though. I've made up my mind.
What are you up to?
I need to let go. There is no other option.
A divorce. You can't turn your back to those wonderful years of love. You are not the Ben I know.
She is too suspicious and thinks I am having an affair. I've given her all that I could, but it seems not enough.
It's not fair!
I asked her to give me a chance, to wipe out all the confusion that is nesting in her mind and eating her and me alive. But she won't listen.
So sorry to hear that. Olivia is as obstinate as ever.
She even threatened to kill me.
You wouldn't take her word seriously, would you? Humans lose control of their tongues when they are furious.
No, Judy. She is dead serious. I know if we don't sort it all through amicable divorce, she is going to take matters into her own hands.
So, what are you planning to do?
I have talked to the lawyer, and I'm filing for a divorce next week.
Here we arrived. The body should be there, officer.
What a horrible sight to see. Now, we wait for the autopsy results. I hope we get them tomorrow evening at max. Let us get down to business.
I will start collecting the evidence.
Have you searched the body?
Definitely. I packed up Ben's belongings and took some photos.
Let us hope we solve the puzzle soon.
We're receiving the autopsy results in 2 hours from now. Anything of interest from the crime scene?
I've gone through the inventory of what I found. I got Ben's phone and wallet. I also found a paper wrap for a turkey chicken sandwich.
Is that all?
No, I also found in the trash a piece of paper. A grocery list. It belongs to Ben. Do you think it is important?
Probably not, but suspicious things always end up in trash.
I see.
And we cannot afford the chance of things slipping in the cracks.
Can't agree enough, officer. I searched for footprints on the scene, but it was near a construction site, so there were lots of them.
Have you taken any photos?
Yes, I did. Who knows when we need them?
We will also need to interview the janitor, as well as the nearest to Ben at home and at work.
Honestly, officer, we cannot build a case on circumstantial evidence.
Don't worry about that, Joanna. Hope things will unfold quickly after the autopsy, so that we can see our way ahead.
Have a look at the groceries list. Something is weird here. Use your loaf? That doesn't make sense.
Unless he meant to pass a code to us. Are you thinking what I am thinking?
Cockney. It is a rhyme. If it reads a loaf of bread, then
use your head.
It's definitely a code.
The last line is strange. Why are the L and V capitalized?
Ben has never liked lavender tea, but certainly people do not buy 2 bags of tea.
It is a coded message. Sure thing.
But why did he write this code? Was he afraid of something?
Very likely. Anyways, we still have time to break the code. What's in Ben's mobile phone?
It is a Shiba Tech phone model. Impossible to access without a password.
For God's sake, Ben, why are you making things too difficult for us?
When should we start with the interviews?
I plan to interview the janitor tonight, and hopefully we catch a thread. Sergeant Joanna, please pay a visit to Olivia tomorrow. I learnt she is back home after her husband's tragedy.
Roger, officer.
I wonder if she now feels what it meant to hook her claws into poor Ben.
Do you think she is a suspect?
With the tiny evidence we have so far, even Martians are suspects, Joanna. Let's see what the coroner has to say.
Anything new, Rod?
Yes, we've got the results.
Lay them on me. How did he die? Any criminal suspicions?
Ben died between 9 and 10 p.m. last night. The findings reveal it was a heart attack.
Was there any sign of violence?
Negative. Apparently, he took his last meal at 7. It was a roasted chicken.
Do you mean it was
Natural death? Yes, Officer Judy. I already asked his doctor. He confirmed to me that Ben was suffering from a chronic heart disease.
I am surprised. He never talked to me about it.
His doctor says Ben did not want people to worry about him.
I hope he didn't die in pain.
For a person in his age, things would happen too fast to feel anything. Sorry for your loss, Sergeant. I know he was a close friend. I will put the report at your desk within an hour.
Thank you, Rod. I highly appreciate it.
So, what are we going to do now? Is it over?
I don't see any chance that the Inspector General will allow us to proceed forward with this mission. But he will let us work on the case for a couple of days.
That will give us a window to conduct the interviews.
And for decoding the groceries list.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dylan, for giving me the chance to talk to you.
My pleasure, officer.
I understand that you were the first one to detect the dead body last night.
Yes. In addition to my work here, I go to work as a janitor at the construction site and stay there until midnight.
How did you find out about Ben?
I don't know him, to start with. At around 5 p.m. that evening, he parked his car near the site, passed by, greeted me, then headed to the Shrubs Park.
Wasn't it surprising to see a man at that time, Dylan?
No. It is quite common for people to come to the park nearby. So, I did not suspect anything was wrong.
Did you notice anything strange on him?
I think he was a bit confused. Just after he left, I realized that he dropped his car keys. I kept them with me to give them back to him once he returned.
Aside from the keys, did you notice anything else?
He was dressed casually and was putting on some lavender perfume. But, you know something? It caught my attention that his hands were empty.
What are you trying to say?
People in this area come to the park for refreshment. They usually grab some food to enjoy their meal in the shrubs. He did not have any food with him. Anyways, that was the custom. He could be a different person.
How did you discover the body?
At midnight, I finished my work and noticed the car was still there. That is when I became concerned. It is not customary for people to stay in the park for more than 2 hours. So, I went to find him and give him the keys. I think you know the rest of the story, officer.
Quite. If you remember anything else, please call me. Thank you, Dylan, for your time. Lavender, the keys. What message you want us to know? In all of this mystery, I am certain of one thing. Ben, you were not alone.
Good morning. I am Matthew Anderson, the Inspector General. And I have an appointment with Mr. Alan Walker.
Most welcome, sir. The Chief Executive Officer is waiting for you. He is in his office on the 7th floor.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Anderson. Please, have a seat.
Thank you, Alan. I know you have a busy schedule, so I will try to be short.
I am at your disposal. It was a sad day. Everyone in the town loved Ben.
Yes, he was a good man.
It will take time for Olivia until the shock wears off a bit.
Our detectives are following up on the matter. It's part of the job, you know, especially when someone unexpectedly dies in inexplicable conditions. Although the coroner's report almost rules out any homicide possibility, it is necessary, we feel, to ensure that we are comfortable enough to close the case.
I see. So, what information are you looking for?
It was brought to our attention that both Ben and his wife exchanged some sort of life insurance policies. And, I hope I am not breaking any rules of confidentiality if I ask about this matter.
Right. The practice is not to disclose information to third parties, except with a court order, or with the informed consent of the client. Since we received an authorization from court, I don't see any problem in sharing with you some information, though it will be limited. Last year, both Ben and Olivia came in and subscribed to a mutual life insurance scheme. That is to say, if either of them dies a natural death, the spouse will be entitled to a compensation from our insurance company.
Can I ask about the amount?
It is a big amount, indeed. We're talking $2 million.
That's a fortune.
Correct. But remember, the policy says it is a natural death. And once Mrs. Miller starts the procedures, we will deposit the full amount in her bank account. After all, The coroner's report denies any accident or assault as the reason of death.
But, what if the coroner said, otherwise, that the death was a result of a foul play?
Then Olivia will walk out from this building with nothing.
Empty-handed. I see the point. Okay. That is all I needed to know. Thank you for your time.
Anytime, Mr. Anderson. Anytime.
The janitor says Ben was not carrying anything with him while going to the shrubs.
If what he is saying is true, where did the sandwich wrap come from?
That's the $64 question.
Are you saying he had some company?
Exactly, Joanna. Anything new about the evidence that we have collected so far?
Rod is working on the footprints and the sandwich wrap. I also asked him to inspect Ben's car key for fingerprints.
What are you planning to do now?
I am going to see Olivia.
And I am going to have a word with the inspector.
Did he call for you?
No, but apparently he was acting solo on the case. This is a small town, Joanna. It wasn't too hard for me to know that he visited the insurance company to ask questions about Ben there.
Insurance? What does it have to do with Ben?
Ben and Olivia had entered into a mutual life insurance policy.
He never told me about that. But for Inspector to go there and ask is weird.
That's why I am going to see him. It is our case and he cannot put his nose in it, just as simple as that.
He is the inspector at the end of the day, but I don't like it. I smell a rat there. What is his motive?
This is what I am going to know shortly.
There are no words to express my sorrow for your loss, Olivia.
Ben was a great man. I can't believe he is gone, forever. A couple of days ago, we had a hot argument. I left the house and went to my mother's, shutting my heart away, which was saying, Ben needed you, Olivia.
Don't be too hard on yourself, Olivia. This is life.
It was only when he died that I realized how wrong I was.
Did you see him that day?
No. I was with my mother at the hospital and stayed there until around 6 p.m., then went back home. It was only the next morning that I heard of the news.
Was there anybody at home with you, or were you alone?
I was all alone, Joanna. I had some sleeping pills and went to bed early. It was a hectic day and I needed some rest.
I don't want to pry into your family affairs, but do you feel comfortable telling me the reason for your hot arguments with Ben?
It is all about Samantha. Last year, Ben's institute appointed an assistant for him to help him with his medical research. The first moment I saw her, I could not but hold some grudge over the puff she was making about her smart mind and beautiful body. I could not help the feeling she was after my husband. Since then, our life was not the same. I suddenly started snapping at him, asking him about any relations that he had with Samantha.
And, how did he respond to your suspicions?
They are hardly suspicions, Joanna. It was all about a wife who does not want to allow any other woman to steal her husband.
Did you contemplate divorce?
He said he wanted to file for a divorce. That was after.
After what, Olivia?
After I threatened to kill him.
I guess you were not serious, right?
Of course I wasn't. I loved him and wanted him to be for me alone.
Did Ben ever tell you about his heart disease?
That added another shock. He never told me about it. He always wanted me to be happy, and would never share with me anything that worried him.
Can you tell me if anything serious was bothering him lately?
Last month, he was working on his computer. Suddenly, a message pops up and knocks him sideways. Since then, he became very anxious, though I could not know what was happening to him.
He didn't tell you anything?
No. Even if he wanted to talk to me, my jealousy would shut the door.
Do you have access to Ben's computer or mobile phone?
No. He did not share with me his access keys or passwords.
What a shame. What are you planning to do now?
I don't know. I need first to collect myself together, if you understand what I mean. Then, there will be many things to be done. Paperwork, court issues, the insurance and the like.
Okay. Olivia. If you ever remember anything that could help us close the case, please call me. As you know, Ben died of a heart attack, but we just needed to abide by the book, so to speak. To close the case and let you go.
I miss him so much.
Go ahead, Rod. You are on the loudspeaker. I am driving my way back to the station.
Hi, Joanna. I've got some urgent results and thought you might want to hear about them immediately.
What do you have?
You wouldn't believe it, but the keys you gave me did not work on Ben's car. That's not all, Joanna. The keys have no fingerprints other than those of the janitor.
Goodness gracious. Thank you, Rod. Things are turning up to be more complicated than I thought. Or, in other words, we have just got our first clue.
I expected you to come.
I assume this saves me the time for explaining why I am here.
Don't take it personally, officer. It all happened by coincidence, and I just wanted to check on something.
Whatever, Mr. Inspector. That does not give you the right to make an uninvited incursion into my territory.
I owe you an apology. Sorry for that, officer. It has been only a year since I came to this town and assumed my new position as the Inspector General. Back in Kendraville, I was a jack of all trade, and had to do everything myself, and old habits die hard. I wish I could have such perseverant officers like you and Joanna.
But, you probably know that too many cooks spoil the broth. You understand what I mean.
Quite. On that night, I did not feel well. The seasonal flu, fever and cough, you know, so I went to hospital on that very day. While waiting at the reception area, I saw Olivia. She looked like tied up in knots. She was in a hurry that she even did not notice my presence.
What was the time?
I don't quite remember, but since I was there at 5:30 p.m., and was waiting for the doctor to see me for a while, I can say it was at around 6.
So, you say she left the hospital at around 6?
Yes, I suppose so. At night, I was informed of the incident and rushed to the scene minutes after midnight. It is there that I started to question Mrs. Miller's troubled behavior.
Wasn't that too early to develop a theory about her implication?
Not if I had already known about the insurance stuff.
Can I know how you got that information?
You have truly earned your reputation as an investigator. This is a good question to ask. That was also by coincidence. The same salesman of the insurance company who convinced Ben of the insurance, ran into me one day, at the bus stop, and made the offer. I told you, young man, I am not interested in insurance stuff.
But, sir, it is unbeatable, and my offer is below the one that you would receive from the premises of our company. It is the best offer in town, and you deserve the best.
I cannot imagine paying this huge amount of money to make wealth for my survivors. Only insane people can subscribe to life insurance.
Insane? 2 days ago, I had Dr. Benjamin Miller and his wife subscribe to the scheme. And they were very appreciative of my offer. You cannot call them insane.
Leave me alone, young man. I really am not interested.
Anyways, Joanna's with Ms. Miller right now, and will be checking on her alibi.
Look, officer. I understand we do not yet have a case, but $2 million is enough to whet an appetite and turn a seemingly innocent woman to a murderer. So, be careful and try to get as much information as possible from her.
Again, I have to remind you, sir, that this is my job. I do not really need any person to tell me what to do.
Well said, officer. You just remind me of someone who was just like you back in Condarville. But, the difference is that you are more obstinate, which is not bad. Good luck to you, officer. Good luck.
Things are developing at a fast pace, Sergeant.
That's right. Olivia's testimony runs counter to what the inspector has told you.
There's also the janitor.
Do you think he is lying?
I don't know, but most probably, he is hiding something. And we need to know what really happened that night. I will call him for an interview.
What about Olivia? Are we going to set her on another interview?
Not now, Joanna. Let us give her a few days to settle down. She is in grief and we do not want to bring her any further emotional harm.
I see.
As a golden rule, a suspect is presumed innocent until otherwise proven guilty, even though Mrs. Miller is not even a suspect. At least not for the time being.
Roger, officer. I will talk to Rod about the footprints. He might give us something that helps. What's the news, Rod?
Well, a mine of news about the footprints.
Okay. Let's talk about the footprints. What are your findings?
My training is paying off. I received a very good training on tracking some years ago from Jordanian rangers in Petra.
The ancient city?
Yes! They taught me how to figure out whether a footprint belongs to a man or a woman, and to identify even how old he or she is.
Rod. I am not asking about your adventures in the desert. What did you find about the evidence, specifically the footprints?
Apologies, Joanna. Okay, let's talk about the footprints. I could detect footprints belonging to Ben, the Inspector General, the janitor, and an unidentified female.
I see. Is there anything worth our attention?
It's a jackpot. The mysterious woman appears to have come to the place twice. And the second time, she was in a hurry.
What about the key?
The key that you found in Ben's pocket, Joanna, had on it Ben's fingerprints. But the one that was found by the janitor had his fingerprints only, and as I said earlier, it does not operate on Ben's car.
And the sandwich wrap? Any poison or anything else that raises the eyebrows?
I found traces of roasted chicken. Unfortunately, it does not show any brand. It would have been otherwise easier for us to trace it back to its original vendor.
Rod. Are you sure you are the best forensic analyst in the town, as you always keep bragging of?
Do you have any doubts?
Then, why don't you surprise me with something more relevant than whether the egg came from chicken or vice versa?
There were some traces of flafioxine, which is a medication given to patients with cardiac diseases. However, the autopsy did not reveal this medicine in Ben's system.
At last you said something that may appeal to Judy.
Believe me, officer. I didn't do anything.
I know, and that is exactly why I asked you to come.
I told you everything I know. Am I a suspect?
You can call yourself a person of interest for us.
And, what am I supposed to do now?
How about telling us something of value today?
I am afraid I don't understand, officer. Are you suspecting me?
For what reason should I throw doubt on your story? You are just hiding something, and I need to know it now.
Okay, I have no other option. At around 5 p.m., the man came in with his car. He looked worried as I said, but he did not drop any key. At around 11:30 p.m., I went to the shrubs after seeing the car parking for a long time. And, That was the first time for me to see a dead body. It was a shocking experience for me. There was a key near him and I figured out it was for his car, so I picked it up and decided to go back.
So, you didn't call the police immediately?
No, officer. I admit my mind wasn't where it should have been.
Go on. I am listening.
In a split second, I decided to open the man's car and see if there was anything of value there that could help me with my debts. Believe me, it is not usual for me to do so. I am not a thief, but I was desperate.
Okay, so you open the car and do away with something?
No, never. Believe me. While approaching the car, I heard a police siren and felt afraid. So, I backed off and phoned the police.
Is that all?
That's all. Believe me.
I understand. You see, your new story makes sense, now.
Am I free to go?
Yes, you can go. We do not currently have any charges against you. But, if we discover any discrepancies in what you said, I will lock you in a small cell, and throw the key in the ocean.
No need to do that. I swear. I truthfully told you everything.
We're doing great so far. Dr. Miller.
Have all the mice survived?
For 1 week in a row. Isn't that amazing?
Do you think we are going to publish the research in the next journal's issue?
I believe so. We've been waiting in the wings for a year, and should be ready to share our findings with the academic community.
This will be a breakthrough in cardiological research.
People's lives will become better.
Hello, Olivia.
I need to see you, Joanna. Can we meet at Austin Tea Shop in an hour from now?
Sure. I will be there in 15 minutes.
See you then.
What are you up to? What secrets are you trying to hide?
Joanna. I've been to the insurance company. You may know that Ben and I had entered into a life insurance scheme. $2 million is a pretty big amount. For some people, it can be the source of eternal happiness. But it cannot bring back Ben to me.
You must let go, Olivia.
Ben loved his work so much. He wanted people to be healthy and happy. I'm giving up the entire amount to Dexler Institute, where he used to work.
So kind of you. I am proud of you, my friend. Whose idea was that to subscribe to the insurance?
It was Ben's idea. Last year, Ben and I were hanging out in the Giamara Mall. A young salesman approached us and convinced Ben of the insurance. You pay for 10 years, then get a pension or the entire compensation in case of spouse's death.
And, now you're giving up everything for Ben's institute.
Yes, Joanna. That's it. There is something bothering me, and I must get it out of my chest.
And I am listening.
My mother was admitted to hospital as an emergency case. I stayed with her all night without any chance to sleep. On the next day, at around 1 p.m., I had a nap, and when I woke up, someone had tampered with my phone.
Tampered? In what sense?
There was a text in my messenger saying that Ben was going to see Samantha on that day, at 2:30 p.m., in the Shrubs Park. It was difficult to leave my mother, so I waited until she fell asleep. That was at around 3 p.m. Then, I hurried up to the site.
Did you find him?
No. I didn't. I sat on the bench for a while. At around 4:30, I had to leave, without a doubt that it had been a stupid prank by a thoughtless person. My mother could not be left alone. When I arrived to my car, the key was gone. I hurried back to the bench but saw nothing, and with a little time available, I had to go back to the car, get into it and use the spare key hidden underneath the chair.
I see. So the car's door wasn't locked. Had anybody tampered with the car?
It had never been opened. The driver's door in my car has some problems and only Ben and I know how to open or close it. Even if someone had opened the car, it would have been impossible for him to close it back.
But your key was found on the scene.
Then, this only means that I did not search well the second time.
Yes, most likely it happened like you said.
Upon returning to hospital, the nurses told me my mother was recovering, and that I could go home to rest. That was at around 6:15. At night, I learned through social media about a dead body in the shrubs, so I hurried there again and found all of you there. But I was afraid to show myself, although I was close to you. At that point, I sneaked out and returned to my mother's house. By the way, until that time, I had no idea that it was Ben. I just went there to find the key and keep my nose clean.
Well, I will share your story with Judy. That's all that I can say for now.
Do you think I am in trouble?
No, I don't think so. We may need your help as some more evidence evolves.
Thank you, Joanna, for listening to me. I will need to go now to finalize the insurance issue and transfer the money to the Institute.
Oh. I would be grateful if you could bring us the shoes that you were putting on. It will make it easy for us to corroborate your story.
No problem. You will have them tomorrow morning.
Do you think the janitor was lying again?
Absolutely not. The interview was hard enough to give him the creep. He would think twice before talking to anybody from now on.
The case brings up a host of assumptions.
Hold your horses, Joanna. We will not make any assumption until we get the full picture first.
So what is our next step?
Interviews with more people, of course. I am Inspector Judy, and am looking for Samantha.
She's here. In front of you right now.